I will call the August council meeting to order. Shane is getting his system set up, and if you could work with him when the system is ready. And you can hit the button Shane says if you'd like. Thank you. I see them coming through. Welcome to those watching from home or here in the audience. Thank you for joining us this evening, as well as all the council members for being here. Item number 3, I invite you to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 4 on our agenda is the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting, which is attachment number 1. Council members, what are your wishes regarding the minutes of the previous meeting?
Move to accept and place on file.
We have a motion by Stack. Is there a second? And a second by Kellogg. Give it to Kellogg. Any discussion? Whirl? All in favor? Any opposed? That passes. Item 5 is the explanation of the visitor speaking procedure. Individuals wishing to address the body this evening may do so after receiving acknowledgement by a council member, in which you'll be invited to the podium to speak on an agenda item in front of us, which when you approach the podium, please introduce yourself and make sure the microphone is on. Item number 6 on our agenda this evening is Mayor Ruwink, my report. Working backwards from our previous council meeting, one of the announcements that was made was that Wisconsin Rapids is welcomed into the Downtown Revitalization Program, in which Connect Communities is the name of the program. It is meant to recognize and to support communities like ours who are beginning to put efforts in place to support their downtowns and historic commercial districts, really as a precursor to a much larger, robust program called the Main Street Program, which that program has been in existence since 1987. But the Main Street Program, or the Connect Communities Program, is meant to connect us with other communities going through similar processes, as well as to be supported by the state, Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, as it is a program underneath that group, which we were one of 18 communities to join that in 2015. There will be an announcement forthcoming as to the state's visit to formally acknowledge our acceptance into that program to support revitalization in our city's core. Actually, the same evening as our council meeting last month, we had the All-Star Game here in Wisconsin Rapids, which was the Northwoods League's All-Star Game. There's a high-level, obviously, effort by everyone involved, and so we acknowledge and congratulate those that made it to the All-Star Game, but as well as to those in our community that played a role in making sure that effort went without a hitch. The 8th of August, participated alongside a number of other community members for a very unique Raft the Wisconsin race, which we paddled and ran up to Witter Field and finished there for the closing weekend of the Rafter season. Saw many individuals at the community picnic, which was incredibly well attended and in a nice location downtown this year for area residents, city and outside residents to participate and to gather along the waterfront. That same evening, later in the evening, we hosted our preliminary design presentation, which was the yet another visit from our consultant Supermass Studios, who has been working on a long-range plan for redesign of the public spaces along the riverbank. We will be announcing dates in September for their next visit, likely around our council meeting in September, to present a near-final version of those plans. I did bring a bottle of Wisconsin's best tasting water this evening. If you didn't become aware, our city was named best tasting water in the state at the state fair by a number of judges representing Miller Coors, Ocean Spray, the Water Council, the PSC, and then Wisconsin Brewmasters. So very good acknowledgement by our water and light utility for providing us all the best tasting water in the state. I can rub that in my peers' faces as they've gone around and jabbed each other the last number of years for having the best tasting water. I can obviously turn turn the table on them. And last but not least, but very connected, want to commend Senator Baldwin for her leadership in introducing the Waterfront Community Revitalization and Resiliency Act, recognizing the importance Wisconsin's waterfront communities play in their economies, as well as in the effort to make certain cities around the state the ideal places to live, work, and play. So commend Senator Baldwin for her efforts to introduce this act, in which it's introduced in the U.S. Senate, which would help our city in areas such as grant funding, as well as preferred status and other federal grant and loan programs to help move waterfront projects forward. And third, to establish a network of resilient waterfront communities to share best practices, highlight model communities, and something we all want to do, and that's help attract new investment in our communities. So I want to commend Senator Baldwin and her leadership on that. Item 7, under new business, item A, is review and select and approve consultant for wastewater rate study as approved by the Wastewater Treatment Commission in item 2 of its August report, which, council members, is attachment number 3 in your packets. No, I didn't leave it up. Okay. It's in our packet. I thought that was the attachment. Mr. Neitzel, do you want to walk us through attachment number 3? Unless we've got it. 1, 2. Oh, okay. So it's the minutes from the Wastewater Treatment Commission, item number 2, which is the revised minutes from 8/13. Do you want me to read the minutes, Jim? Or
Yeah,
do you talk about
we had two people that, or two consulting firms that actually bid on this, and Strand's number was a lot lower, but they did not have, they weren't giving us what we wanted out of the RFP. That's why we went with with MSA's, and MSA's was a not-to-exceed number, and Strand's was an estimated number. But Strand did not, they weren't really giving us what we were asking for in the RFP. So Nick Dooms, Joe Eisted, and I reviewed the proposals and came up with wanting to award this to MSA because they're going to give us what we want.
So the recommendation from the Wastewater Treatment Commission at its meeting in August here was to award accept the MSA's bid to conduct an in-depth wastewater rate study and to award, to select and approve that consultant. Council members, what are your wishes regarding item A and that item?
Question, Your Honor?
Yes, please. Alderperson Stack?
Yes, thank you. When you say cost centers, you're actually looking at rates that you'll be charged, that the homeowner and business will be charged. Is that correct?
Yes.
Instead of saying the rate of, or the cost of the service, you're saying rate, you're saying centers, cost centers.
Well, you can, in the process at the treatment plant, you can actually break out different processes and put an actual cost of what each one is in relation to the entire cost. That's one of the things that we want to do.
But in effect, this is a rate study.
Yes.
When all is said and done, it becomes a rate study.
Yeah.
So the homeowner, the business owner has to realize that the Wastewater Treatment Commission is looking to see how much more money they need to run the operation.
Well, maybe.
Perhaps.
Perhaps is probably a good word.
Right, but it's all the same. When you slice and dice it, it's probably be an increase in cost. And, I I just can't perceive that it would go down. You incur additional costs as you run the operation, employee wages, services, whatever else is brought into that cost center. So PC kills me, okay? Why don't you just say rate increase instead of cost centers? Thank you.
I would add, and maybe the finance director wants to chime in too, on this piece that, there are certain expenses to treat certain types of waste at the treatment plant, and the analysis, as I understand, has been that we have not actually undergone the analysis of what it costs to treat certain industrial users' waste. So while that could be one way of looking at it, and I would respect that position, we haven't begun an analysis of all the waste we accept at the treatment plant and certain classifications of it and the cost to treat that waste. So it might be safe to say that we've been assessing certain charges for certain classifications when in fact we haven't really known what has gone into the expense of treating that waste. So household, residential users, or even general commercial users, that's the simplest way to look at it. But Tim, do you want to chime in and add to that?
Yeah, basically, we're just reviewing our whole rate structure. Right now, we have like a domestic flow rate, we have BOD charges, TSS, phosphorus, or charges, and historically over the years, whenever we've done a rate increase, they've kind of been across the board. And basically, with the plant expansion that occurred in 2008 and the development of our industrial users has really necessitated a need to look at how our rate structures are derived. And basically, when you talk about cost centers, there's different processes at the plant, especially with the new expansion in industrial users, that we want to break out and develop cost centers, so we allocate certain costs to those so that if certain costs are incurred to, say, treat BODs, that it gets reflected in the BOD rate, not just across the board and buried amongst all the different rates.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is just bringing a little bit more structure to that. And also in the future, when you have increases in different parts of your process, whatever process is being affected by that cost increase gets reflected in that specific rate.
Mm-hmm. Rate structure. Yeah. Cost, however it might be defined, it's still a cost. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion on that item. We're affirming the consultant that was recommended, selected. There's no rates, no proposals, other than selecting the consultant to do the work and begin the rate study.
I have to, you need a voice or machine?
You're good.
Okay, I'd make motion to approve it.
We have a motion to approve by Stack.
Second.
And a second by Dolan. And I guess the button needs to be pushed. If you wouldn't mind, Terry, thank you. Very good. Shane's got his, okay, Shane's back in. We'll do a voice vote. We have a motion by Stack, second by Dolan. Any further discussion on the motion on the floor, and that is to approve MSA as the consultant to perform the wastewater rate study? Any other discussion? I'll need an, okay, I'm not seeing any requests to speak. Moving to a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Item B, 7B, review, select, and approve consultant for West Side Lift Facilities Plan as approved by the Wastewater Treatment Commission in item 3 of its August report, which is also attachment number 3, item number 3. In the minutes, it states a total of 5 requests, RFP requests for proposals were sent out to consulting engineers requesting a design facility plan to build a new lift station at 1911 Gaynor Avenue. Joe Eichstead recommended Strand for the facility plan as they have the most experienced personnel with lift station construction, facility planning, and force main river crossings. Motion was made by Dave Yankovic and seconded by Peter Jennings to accept Strand's proposal to create a facility plan to build a new or rehab the West Side Lift Station. Strand's proposed cost is $29,880. With that, I would entertain a motion on the approval of the consultant for the West Side Facilities Plan. We have a motion by Rayom. Is there a second? Second by Koth to approve Strand at a cost of $29,880. Any further discussion?
Your Honor?
Yes,
Thank you.
Alderperson Stack.
Strand has, it says we're recommending Strand. Have they been a group that has worked for the city in the past?
Great question. In fact, we're in the midst of working with them right now and all the industrial users, those that send us waste from their industrial facilities, to address the filamentous issue and the volatile fatty acid VFA issue that's kind of created upset and problems at the plant. And I would say personally very pleased with their analysis. They have some local sort of connection in terms of understanding the processes and cranberry waste and all that that we accept. Jim or any others, do you have any additions to the question or response?
No, I can just echo what the mayor said. With the study that they've been working on, I've been very happy with what they've done for us.
Right. Okay, thank you.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item C, 7C, is a resolution adopting the Wisconsin DNR Compliance Maintenance Annual Report as approved by the Wastewater Treatment Commission in item 4 of the August report, attachments 2 and 3. The resolution is attached in item number 2. The minutes are reflected are item number 3. And then I believe the report is attached. That's also in the first, I think in the original agenda that Shane, original packet that Shane distributed. Yeah. Right, in the CMAR, yeah, okay. There it is. Jim, do you have any comments?
Not really, except that we got all A's, which is a good thing. There's a lot of technical information in between the cover sheet and the back sheet, but the back sheet is where all the grades are, is what I guess really counts. So if you go to the very last page of the report, you'll see that.
Any discussion or questions on item C?
Your Honor?
Yes.
Sorry to
Alderperson
wait.
Stack, please.
A question on the succession planning that's on, well, it's under Operator Certificate in Education, Certification in Education. You indicate that you have 1 or more additional certified operators on staff. Are those backups able to work in a somewhat regular basis with all functions that the current operator does so that they are familiar with the current operation of the plant? So if unexpectedly Mr. Lukey is not available, will there be someone who can step in and let's go, I'm fully trained, I'm ready to do things? So, you know, it's one thing to be trained, it's another thing to be trained and working as well. So are the backups?
Yeah, all the operators essentially do all of the duties.
Okay.
So nobody's just set out to do this job or that job. They all do all the jobs in a rotating basis.
Right? Okay, good. Thank you.
Any other questions specific to item 7C, the resolution? Hearing and seeing none, I entertain a motion.
It's nitroglycerin.
We have a motion by Rayom to approve the resolution and the CMAR, the Compliance Maintenance Annual Report. Is there a second? And second by Dolan. Any further discussion? Seeing, hearing none. Oh, Alderperson Stack, please.
Again, apologize. I've seen a number of these through the years, and my congratulations to the plant and the operators that they are being able to do such a good job that we maintain this good score, good rating. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'll pass that on to the operators.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, moving to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Item 7D under new business is my appointments to various boards and commissions, which were distributed 3 days in advance last Friday with the packet, and I don't have a paper copy in front of me, with a few appointments. One to the library board, thank you, sir. One to, actually two to redevelopment authority. On the subject of redevelopment authority, Alderperson Jim Stack reappointed for a term expiring 4/19 of 2017. Patricia Teed Pagel, reappointed for a term expiring 2/1 of 2020. And on the library board, David Farnborough, appointed for a 3-year term expiring 7/1 of 2019. Council members, what are your wishes regarding the appointments that are being proposed? We have a motion to accept by Kellogg. Is there a second? Second by Whirl. Moving to discussion. Any discussion on the, I don't see any of the individuals here this evening, so I won't ask anybody to introduce themselves. Moving to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That passes. Thank you for that. Item 8, Standing Council Committee Reports. Item A, Finance and Property Committee meeting held August 4th. Alderperson Dolan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, alderpersons, city staff, those here and attending here and at home. The Finance and Property Committee met at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, August 4th, 2015 in the first floor conference room at City Hall. All committee members were present. A list of others attending are on file in the clerk's office. Item 2, a request from Eric Davin for approval of a special events application for the Special Olympics of Wisconsin Run with the Cops on October 8th, 2015, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. to include street closures of Para A, 1st Avenue South from West Grand Avenue to 3rd Avenue South, Para B, Goggin Street between 1st Avenue South and 3rd Avenue South, Para C, use of the Riverwalk. It was moved by Whirl, seconded by Hepp, to approve the special events application, which includes the street closures and the use of the Riverwalk. Motion carried. Item 3, considering of hiring Civitech Consulting for the rewrite of the zoning ordinance. It was moved by Hepp, seconded by Dolan, to approve the hiring of Civitech Consulting to rewrite the zoning ordinance for $81,820. Motion carried. Item 4, authorization to issue $6,065,000 general obligation promissory notes to refinance the $9 million electrical revenue bonds dated 4/1/2009. It was moved by Dolan, seconded by Whirl, to authorize the issuance of the amount changed, $7,575,000 in general obligation refunding bonds. The motion carried. Item 5, beverage operator license application. It was moved by Hepp, seconded by Whirl, to approve licenses for the applicants listed. Motion carried. Item 6, audit of the bills. The committee audited the bills. It was moved by Whirl, seconded by Hepp, to approve voucher number 60,222-71215 through voucher 60,574 731-2015 and to recommend payment. Motion carried. Item 7A, in open session, it was moved by Hepp, seconded by Dolan, to go into closed session under section 19.85, para 1, para E of the Wisconsin statute. Roll call vote was taken and all members voted in the affirmative. Motion carried. Item B, in closed session, the committee discussed negotiation strategy and the possible purchase of properties in the downtown area. Item 8, the committee adjourned in closed session at 6:05 p.m. Terry Dolan, chairperson, Greg Hepp, secretary. And with that, I look for a motion to. Well, I got a second report. Yeah, actually, forgot about that. The Finance and Property Committee met jointly with the Human Resources Committee at 4:45 p.m. tonight, August 15, 2015, in the first floor conference room at City Hall. All members were present. Also attending was Shane Blazer, Tom Rayom, Zach Berwink, Sue Schill, Beth Bakanovich, Todd Furkey, Jim Stack, Scott Kellogg, Merlin Bauer, Tim DeSorcy, and Bill Clendenning. The meeting was called to order at 4:45 p.m. Item 2, preliminary discussion regarding the city providing administrative and management services to the Airport Commission for the operation of Alexander Field. This item was for information and no action was taken. Item 3, the committee adjourned in closed session at 5:49 PM. Terry Dolan, chairperson, Greg Heck, secretary. I look for a motion to approve both reports. What? We weren't enclosed, yeah, we weren't.
We'll adjust that for the record.
Committee adjourned in open session at 5:49 PM.
Was that a motion to approve the two reports? We have a motion to approve by Dolan. Is there a second? Second by Ferkey. I'll move into the discussion. Alderperson Stack, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. What changed on item 4 of Report 1 that you went from 6 million to 7 million?
The change in amount was the 6 million was actually what was outstanding on the existing revenue bonds. The 7 million reflects the actual GO refunding bonds that we're going to issue, because you have to increase the amount because you're basically doing advance refunding. You have to put money in an escrow to fund the bonds that are not callable. And then obviously then it includes the expenses of the issuance.
Right. Was the rate lower? Is that why you came forward with the request?
Basically, yeah, a better interest rate by issuing GO bonds as opposed to doing a revenue bond.
Okay.
And then also it frees up their debt reserve that they are required under the existing bonds, and they're using that to pay down the debt before they refund it.
Okay, thank you.
Great opportunity for the utility and the city to work together in the benefit of all of our ratepayers and everyone else involved. We have a motion and a second. Alderperson Rayom, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let's see. Item 3, Civitech Consulting. I don't remember hearing of them, but maybe my memory just forgot it too. Who are they, I guess, or where from?
They're out of Lake Mills, Wisconsin. They're a very small firm. It's basically one principal who then contracts with other planners or GIS or legal entities. In this particular case, he is contracting with a planner out of La Crosse, I believe, a GIS expert out of the Milwaukee area, and then a legal team out of Madison. So it'll be basically a 4-person team that they're proposing to work on the project.
Is there a time table for this?
The time frame that I laid out is approximately 18 months, which is potentially a little aggressive from the feedback we got, but I would hope 18 to 24 months is reasonable to get basically to completely replace our existing zoning ordinance.
Is that amount there enough is that to cover it for those 18 months?
Correct. Yep, that would cover it in its entirety. There is only one potential add-on that we would potentially come back to the council for in the future, but it is not necessary to complete the project.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions or discussion on the two reports of the Finance and Property Committee meetings? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Item 8B, Public Works Committee meetings held August 4th, just the one. Alderperson Rayom.
The Public Works Committee met at 6:10 PM on August 4th, 2015, in the first floor conference room at City Hall. All members were present. Also attending were Mayor Verwink and Alderpersons Ferkey and Dolan. A list of others present is on file in the clerk's office. Item 1, the meeting was called to order. Item 2, a request from Tim Sullivan on behalf of Emmanuel Lutheran Church to modify the parking along the south side of Prospect Street from 8th Street North to 115 feet east of 8th Street North. There was a motion and a second to modify the parking along the south side of Prospect Street from 8th Street North to 115 feet east of 8th Street North to no parking. That motion carried. That's attachment 1. There's an ordinance attached, I believe, with that too. Number 3, discuss and consider requests to extend the recycling agreement with Advanced Disposal Services. Dale Morris represented Advanced Disposal Services and stated that they are in agreement with the one-year extension. There was a motion and a second to extend the recycling agreement with Advanced Disposal Services until June 30th, 2016. Discussion followed. Mayor Verwin commented that a discussion about the future of recycling collection needs to be discussed, as the recycling trucks are due for replacement and will likely have a proposal for consideration of the 2016 budget. The motion carried. Item 4, an update on truck route signage. City staff met to discuss preliminary information on truck route issues and signing throughout the city. It was noted that GPS units used by truckers can have route information updated by local governments. In fact, one trucker was recently interviewed, and his GPS unit directed him from Plover Road, State Highway 54 eastbound, west onto Baker Street. Therefore, it appears this may address some of the violations. More information is going to be reviewed with the intent of proposing any needed changes for inclusion in the 2016 budget. More information will be available at the meeting next month. Item 5, request from Alderperson Rayom to discuss permissive, which is flashing yellow arrow, left turn lights. Flashing yellow arrows for left turns were included in the most recent Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Guidance and is currently required to be installed on all Wisconsin DOT maintained and owned roadways. This type of control was found to be a safer alternative to the traditional green ball and reduces right-angle crashes. Many of the city's traffic signals have protected / permissive left turn phasing, which allows for the inclusion of flashing yellow arrows. Public Works Committee would like staff to look into implementation of options and bring them back to the next month's meeting. Item 6, the 2015 project schedule was reviewed. Item 7, the referral list was reviewed. Could remove from 2015 items 26 and 28. Item 8, there's a motion and a second to adjourn. The motion carried. The meeting adjourned at 6:50 p.m. And with that, Your Honor, I move for adoption of the report.
The motion to approve by Alderperson Rayom, is there a second? Alderperson Kellogg seconds the motion to approve the report. Any discussion on the report? Seeing and hearing none, moving to a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Item 8C, Human Resources Committee meeting held August 4th and August 18th. Alderperson Ferkey, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. The Human Resources Committee met at 4 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, August 4th, in the third floor conference room at City Hall. Alderpersons Ferkey, Kellogg were present. Alderperson Stack was absent. Also present were Beth Buchenowitz, Tim DeSorcy, Police Chief Hoyer, Randy Johns, John Pruiss, and Tracy Toffener. Item 1, meeting was called to order. Item 2, we had received an update on the police department physical assessments. Chief Hoyer and Ministry Medical Group FIT Representative Tracy Toffener updated the committee on the status of the police department physical assessments. The police department will perform validation testing on August 12th, 2015. Item 3, discuss the medical management program submitted or provided by Security Administrative Services, possible premium increases, and a formal approval of the renewal with SAS. A motion was made by Alderperson Kellogg, seconded by Alderperson Ferkey to renew with SAS for claims administration services. Premiums will be discussed at our September Human Resources Committee meeting. That motion carried. Item number 4, A. In open session, the committee will vote to go into closed session pursuant to section 19.85, para 1, para C, Wisconsin statutes, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. And in section 19.85, para 1, para F, Wisconsin statutes, considering financial, medical, social, or personal histories or disciplinary data for specific persons. Preliminary consideration of specific personnel problems or the investigation of charges against specific persons. A motion was made by Alderperson Kellogg, seconded by Alderperson Furkey to go into closed session as noted above. A roll call vote was taken with all voting in the affirmative. That motion carried. Part B, in closed session as noted above, the committee will discuss and approve an employee's request to extend sick leave for a serious health condition. The committee discussed an employee's request to extend sick leave for a serious health condition. A motion was made by Alderperson Furkey and seconded by Alderperson Kellogg to return to open session. That motion carried. Part C, the committee did return to open session for possible recommendations. A motion was made by Alderperson Kellogg and seconded by Alderperson Furkey to approve an employee's request to extend sick leave for a serious health condition per city policy and contract. That motion carried. The meeting, in Part 5, the meeting adjourned at 5:05. And I would also like to give a shout out to Police Chief Hoyer and Randy Johns and Tracy Toffner for their efforts in moving that police department physical assessments program forward. It appears to be going just in the direction that we were looking for when it was first conceived. Second meeting. Today, August 18th, the Human Resources Committee met jointly with the Finance and Property Committee at 4:45 in the first floor conference room at City Hall. All members were present. Also attending were Shane Blazer, Tom Riom, Mayor Bruink, Sue Schill, Beth Buchanowitz, Greg Hepp, Merlin Bauer, Tim DeSorsi, Terry Dolan, Chad Whirl, and Bill Clendenning. Item 1, the meeting was called to order at 4:45. Item 2, a preliminary discussion regarding the city providing administrative and management services to the Airport Commission for the operation of Alexander Field. This item was for information only and no action was taken, and the committee adjourned at 5:49 p.m. Respectively submitted by Chairman Todd Furkey and Jim Stack, Secretary. With this, Your Honor, I move for adoption of the Human Resource Committee reports.
We have a motion to approve the 2 Human Resources Committee meetings as well as a second by Alderperson Stack. Any further discussion on the 2? Alderperson Kellogg should be included for the record in attendance. Thank you for clarification. I do remember you being there myself. I can vouch for you. Any further discussion on the reports? Oh. Okay. Seeing no further discussion or request to speak, we'll move into a vote. Please cast your ballots. No, I'm sorry, we're not doing it on the electronic machine. I'm sorry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Item 9, miscellaneous reports. Item A, the Police and Fire Commission meeting held July 8th. Item B, the Wisconsin Rapids Police Department organizational report, quarterly report. Item C, the Wisconsin Rapids Fire Department organizational summary for July. Item D, the Wisconsin Rapids quarterly statement of financial operations. Item E, the Wisconsin Rapids Housing Authority held June 24th and July 29th. Item F, the Wisconsin Rapids Housing Authority Resident Advisory Board held July 14th. Item G, the Police and Fire Commission held July 8th. Item H, the Wisconsin Rapids Police Department monthly report for July. Item I, the Treasurer's monthly reports for June and July. Item J, the Wastewater Treatment Commission held August 5th. Item K, the Waterworks and Lighting Commission held July 8th and special meeting held July 29th. Item L, the Southwood County Airport Commission held August 6th. And item M, the Park and Rec Commission held July 29th. Council members, what are your wishes regarding those reports? Alderperson Stack, please.
I don't mean to dominate conversation tonight, but
You're entitled to if you'd like.
but just to Mr. DeSorsi, I appreciated the layout of the Wisconsin Rapids Quarterly Statement of Financial Operations because it allowed us to know where the money was spent, and it also provided us the category. I found that interesting, that I can associate your codes with an expense, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any further requests to speak? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion on the reports. A motion to approve by Ferkey. Is there a second? Alderperson Koth, the second. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That passes. Item 10, items for the new business at the September 15th council meeting. Nothing is listed. Item 11, referral of communication to committees. Are there any referrals of communication to committees? Seeing and hearing none. Item 12, which I would ask for a motion to go, do I read item A first and then ask for a motion? Okay. In open session, the council may vote to go into closed session under section 1985, parent 1, parent E of the Wisconsin statutes, which reads, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining require a closed session. Alderpersons, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session. I'd entertain the motion. Do you want to make that motion? Alderperson Stack? Is there a second? A motion to go into closed by Stack, second by Kellogg. Move into discussion. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we're going to go into closed, and in closed session, the council may discuss negotiation strategy and possible purchase of properties in the downtown area. Item C, the council may take action or make recommendations on item B in closed session and may adjourn in closed session or may return to open session and continue to discuss item B and may take action or make recommendations on item B. Excuse those as they make their way out of the room. And Travis, if you wouldn't mind.